Hi, thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, and I show you ways to modify yoga poses to make them more accommodating to your body. Today is going to be more of an advanced tutorial on using our yoga blocks. Some of you may have been doing yoga and stretching for a long time, and you find that some of the regular stretches poses don't quite stretch you out quite the way they used to, which is great, but now we're going to look at using our blocks to make that give you that oomph back. I've got two blocks. I think most of these you can probably just use one, but I've got two here just in case. Make sure you do have your blocks because this is definitely a tutorial. For some of these you might even use a rolled up blanket or towel. That could work as well. And of course you want to make sure you have your nice safe space with your mat and everything. All right, so while you're getting ready, just a reminder, please ask your friends to check out my channel. Give this video a like and let me know below if there was a particular pose that we're about to do, if there's a particular pose we did in this video that really did kind of give you that oomph back, that extra stretch that you really needed. This isn't a regular yoga workout, so we're just going to go through each of the poses. So let's begin with our standing forward fold. So for that one, we ordinarily come forward, and again, we can use a block here if we need to, but we're going to look at enhancing this a little bit using both our blocks. I'm going to do it from the forward straight on. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one foot onto our block. Let me turn it this way. And we're going to stand roughly at distance, but we're going to get to where we've got both legs straight. Slight bend in our knees so we can fold forward, and this is where we're going to need the other block because we're probably going to need it here to be able to do this. Then we want to shift our hips over toward that foot on the block, and we might enhance this pose. You're probably feeling already a bit more of a stretch, especially through here and the hamstrings, but if you want to add on to that, walk this over a little bit. Keep pushing your hips so that this hip is over the block, and this gives you a bit of a side stretch to the hip. I'm going to come back to the center, slight bend in both knees, and let's do the other side because I want to feel balanced. So foot on the block, both legs straight but slight bend in the knee. Hinge this forward, shift over, and I'm having to keep this knee a bit more bent than the other one. That's just where it is today. And then for that extra enhancement, slide around. Work on straightening it out. There we go. And bring this back. Slight bend in the knee to bring this back up. Awesome. So we're going to take it to the floor now. Any way you want to get there. And again, we'll do both just so we're balanced today. We're going to take this to head to knee pose. So with our legs out straight like this, we can take this underneath one of our ankles, and I'll turn sideways a little bit so you can see. This is going to elevate it a little bit. The pose we're looking at is the one where we do this. If it's gotten to where you want more of a stretch, you're working on flexibility, you might take it here, and you'll see I'm not going to be able to get as far forward. It changes it, elevating the leg, elevating your foot, changes the angle, changes the intensity. So I don't have to bend as far. So now I've got something new to work on. If I've gotten to where I can touch my nose to my knee on the floor, I'm back to where I can't touch my nose to my knee. Not that I could anyway. Not saying that I can't. All right, and again, I want to do both sides. So I'll turn a little bit. Just so that I'm even when I'm done here today. All right, so let's bring this up. And pigeon pose, I consider the pose itself to be a pretty advanced move in yoga. But if you're new to it, you definitely want to use the blocks in the way that I'm about to show you. Several things we want to look at for our pigeon pose. So let's go ahead and come over to hands and knees for a moment. And this is the side you're going to see. I'll bring this foot forward. walk it across. And while ordinarily we would slide here until our hip comes all the way to the floor, for most of us that's not going to happen. So we can take this right underneath our buttock. You want to feel this underneath your hip. And then we can work on drawing our other hip forward. There's an inclination to lean onto this buttock, but draw the other hip like you're going to touch it to the floor. It's not going to touch unless you're really limber and flexible in your hip. But keep drawing that forward, and what this does is it helps keep you aligned so that your hips are straight, even, square is the term that a lot of instructors use, square hips. So let's push ourselves up out of this, and we're going to take this to the other side, just so that I can show you what the other leg looks like, and so that I'm not walking funny when I finish here. So slide back, buttock on that block, and again, there's the tendency to roll off onto your hip. Notice what that does to this one. We want to draw this one forward as if we're going to touch it to the floor, but it's not going to get there. That allows some opening to the front of this hip while we're getting backside of the other hip. So pigeon, like I said, is an advanced move. Gravity really does a number on you here. But keep your hips square, keep them even. Don't roll off onto that one glute. And this way we hit 2 parts of each hip in this pose. So let's go ahead and remove that. Bring ourselves around, back to regular sitting. So this next one is a nice side opening pose called gate, and that's on our hands and knees. So gate pose, we take one leg out, we lift up, and we lean over. What we're going to do today is we're going to enhance this by taking our knee onto a block. Take this out and coming up. Again, elevation is going to give us a little more activation for finding that. It's also going to challenge our balance a bit. Make sure that your toes back here are tucked. Tucked, not straight, tucked. Now let's come back down, take this to the other side. So come back to hands and knees, place this under the other knee. Get that established first. Tuck this toe, tuck, and find your gate. So we're going to finish this tutorial with a deep, deep back bend. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. We're going to start in Shavasana. Now, one way to do this is on one block up this way, or one block this way. If this is intense enough for you, I'll show you this way first, and then I'll show you this way, or stacking 2 blocks for stability. So to begin with, we're going to come to bridge pose. Slide this underneath our pelvic bone, not under our back, but under that pelvic bone, under our bottoms. You'll find that bone right there. And then we can stretch out our legs, even reach our arms overhead. And this is a nice restorative back bend that can get kind of intense, but it also allows us to stretch out here. If we sit a lot, walk a lot, these muscles here get tight, and this is a nice restorative, just relaxing way to let that go. Now, you can, of course, if you want more intensity, take it here, but I find that to be less stable and a little bit, just this much surface touching me is uncomfortable. So if you want to, if you get to where this feels, but you want a little more, and this is the very advanced move, placing 2 blocks on top of each other. Make sure they're level and make sure they're underneath your pelvic bone. And then you get an even bigger back bend. But this is totally personal, totally be careful with that. Some days I feel like having that extra. Now my blocks are stuck together. Sometimes I feel like the extra, sometimes I don't. Today is one of those don'ts. And then you can also enhance this by sliding your legs over to one side, getting a little side bend in there. And some of us have done what I call this letter C stretch here. This is a bit more intense on that one. And if you want to make it even more intense, you can cross one leg over the other. Woo! Really feeling that across the hips. So give these a shot. Those are some advanced yoga block moves. So let's take a moment here to just let our back relax. And again, I thank you always for watching my channel. Please let your friends and family know about it so they can check it out and get the benefits of learning how to adapt exercises to meet the needs of their body as well. Give this a like and let me know in the comments what you thought of any of these poses, if using the block made it more intense for you or made it more accommodating for you even, because this last one was sort of a restorative pose as well. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you next time.